My name is Glenda Pittman. We are near the Texas Capitol, getting ready to do Advocacy Day activities with the Sierra Club. You guys do really, really important work. The only way Texas is ever going to get back to being a habitable place for a lot of people is through organizing, and you guys are sort of like the premier organizing group.
A lot of action and fun at the Capitol yesterday, and Progress Texas was proud to be there. It's Tuesday, March 25th, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Alarming incompetence at the top levels of the American military command, with the story of a journalist with The Atlantic inadvertently being added to a group chat of flimsy security at best, in which sensitive details of ongoing troop action in Yemen were openly discussed, shows that as clowny as the Trump clown show might be, we're in a very serious situation when those clowns are in charge of our national security. In particular, Texas Senator John Cornyn has been a big fan of Trump's pick for defense secretary, former Fox News host and, frankly, defense apparatus newbie Pete Hegseth. Cornyn, in fact, helped shepherd Hegseth to a relatively easy confirmation. And what's he say of his boy now? Tara Souter at The Hill quotes Cornyn, calling the affair, quote, a huge screw-up. I mean, is there any other way to describe it? Somebody dropped the ball, unquote, which is putting this highly embarrassing and worrisome development very, very mildly. Cornyn has called for an interagency inquiry, but keep in mind that most of these folks are Trump loyalists now. We're concerned that while Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson are dismissing the importance of complete amateur hour when it comes to American military security, there's not going to be much of anybody who will really cause a stink within the administration or the MAGA crowd in the Congress, including both John Cornyn and Ted Cruz. Of Trump's claim that he didn't know anything about this as of yesterday, El Paso Congressman Veronica Escobar says, quote, if it's true that the President of the United States had no idea that his war cabinet and vice president were discussing war plans on a signal chat that included a journalist, that is astounding ignorance and profound incompetence, unquote. Scary times indeed. Obviously, much more important to Trump Nation at the moment is a desperate attempt to prop up Elon Musk's Tesla as it craters on the stock market and on the showroom floor as well, not to mention a wave of vandalism targeting Tesla cars and dealerships across the country. Madison Palumbo at KCEN-TV in Waco says that includes the reported discovery of several incendiary devices at an Austin Tesla dealership, requiring bomb squad action this week. As we said, Donald Trump's a lot more worked up about this than he is the safety and security of our troops, calling for people caught damaging Teslas to be charged with domestic terrorism. And his new Attorney General Pam Bondi is apparently following through with some current cases. Adam Gabbett at The Guardian says a total of nearly 20 Tesla showrooms and charging stations have seen deliberate fires set since Donald Trump took office. Those of us who might be tempted should remember that these cars are equipped with cameras, and the FBI has called on Tesla owners to turn those videos over to them as well. Nobody needs this headache. Our message to progressives is to stick to smarter and legal ways to counter Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And our message to Tesla drivers who might feel insecure driving these cars in the current political environment is to consider trading them in for something less culturally tainted. Speaking of Pam Bondi, she's later going after Dallas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett over her criticism of Elon Musk, apparently trying to blame her personally for the widespread rejection of Musk and all of his various brands gaining steam worldwide. Bondi on Fox News last night said Congresswoman Crockett, quote, needs to unequivocally denounce the violence. She must apologize immediately, not only to all Texans, but to our country, the American shareholders of Tesla, because she is promoting violence, unquote. Note that even criticism of Musk is being conflated with insurrection here. We are living in some crazy-ass times. And one more from Muskville as we learn about a bill making its way through the Texas legislature right now that would grant SpaceX an unprecedented amount of control over public access to certain Texas beaches. Timothy Malcolm at the Houston Chronicle says Senate Bill 2188, introduced by Republican Senator Adam Hinojosa of Corpus Christi, would make that allowance to cities containing a spaceport bordering the Gulf of Mexico or its tidewater limits in Texas, with a launch site approved by the Federal Aviation Administration. At present, that would only apply to SpaceX's proposed city in Cameron County. Becca Hinojosa with the South Texas Environmental Justice Network says, quote, SpaceX has already caused irreparable damage to our community and sacred wildlife lands. We are dismayed when we feel our homes shake, our rent prices go up, and are turned away from Boca Chica Beach, unquote. Similar sentiments in our recent talk with Dr. Christopher Basildou of that same org. He pointed out during that conversation that SpaceX is doing all of this damage in large measure with your money. Elon Musk and his various companies have pulled in at least $38 billion in government support over the last 2 decades. Much of that money has gone up in flames with his rockets. A must listen for any of y'all in South Texas or near the coast. Just a couple of clicks back on this podcast feed. A lot of attention the last couple of days on this new bill ostensibly designed to grant more clarity to doctors in regard to Texas's abortion ban and to remove the sense of risk that has prevented doctors in Texas from administering proper care to women experiencing catastrophic pregnancy complications. But criticism of the bill is out there too and is troubling. Mary Ziegler at Slate writes that SB 31 and bills similar to it in other state legislatures, quote, have a more ambitious aim to protect Republicans from the blowback around exceptions without undermining the fight for fetal personhood, maintaining ineffective carve-outs for life-saving care while trying to redefine that care as something other than abortion. They are a blueprint for how to allow emergency access, or at least the appearance of it, without taking a step back in the fight for constitutional fetal rights, unquote. There remains a lot to unpack about this bill, and it needs to happen quickly. Poetic justice here on the same day as the huge All-In for Equality Day at the Capitol yesterday. A federal judge has ruled to block enforcement of the Texas A&M Board of Regents' ban of the on-campus drag show Draggyland on First Amendment claims. Telly Lures at the A&M student paper The Battalion writes that the show will proceed as originally scheduled on March 27th, this Thursday, in Rudder Theater on the main A&M campus in College Station. Kudos to the Queer Empowerment Council and the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, for standing up to the man here. We encourage all progressives in the neighborhood to attend and support Draggyland. We're putting a link for tickets in the show notes this morning. And to wrap on another up note, we're loving a report from San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg on his city's new friendship agreement with Quebec City. The mayor tweets, quote, it was an honor to host the Quebec City delegation alongside Mayor Bruno Marchand in San Antonio. This agreement is a testimony to the real and lasting bonds between Americans and Canadians that go beyond current political rhetoric. Together, we remain committed allies and economic partners, building a stronger future for our communities, unquote. And awesome, which makes now as good a moment as any to announce that San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg will be our guest for a live podcast taping and fundraising party on Tuesday, May the 6th in San Antonio. And you're invited. We look forward to a long overdue and fun get-together with y'all at our Party for Progress in San Antonio. Mark that date, Tuesday, May the 6th with Mayor Ron Nirenberg. Keep it here for more details. March is Women's History Month, and Progress Texas Advocacy Associate Tatum Owens has put together a great rundown in celebration of the enormous breakthroughs Texas women have accomplished, as well as an analysis of why Texas remains among the worst states in which to live for women, plus a full list of Women's History Month events happening across the state. See that list at ProgressTexas.org. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, but they far outmatch us in funding. Oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups spend a lot of money keeping their audiences in the dark. If you've come to appreciate the light we shine on important political news in Texas on a daily, ongoing basis, please know that our regular, everyday listeners form a key component of our funding. If that's you, we could use your support as a monthly contributor, and no amount is too small. Go to ProgressTexas.org/donate. Thanks so much to Roy Bishop, Robert King, and Karen Coningham, all of whom have joined the team lately. We appreciate all of y'all very much. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit, rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.